by Gugat. And one note for non-English speakers. 日本語喋れない人、英語喋れない人たちは、何か質問とかそういうのありましたら、僕の方に言ってくれれば、訳しますんで、その辺はやりますから、気軽に声をかけてください。Okay.
Hello, everybody. Hi. Hello. Actually, I can speak a little bit Japanese, but that limit to sushi names. Okay. So this is my first time talking about anything about testing, because this is actually the first time I think testing is fun. It was so boring before, so I barely write any tests that's useful. So, okay, let's just continue this topic. So, many years ago, I know this guy from a conference that introduced me this concept, continuous testing. And somehow they use a very strange pig gadget as their logo. It's a Java plug. It's a Java project for the editor Eclipse. And it does a very simple thing. Because Java has this JUnit unit testing like a framework. So when you write a program called foo.java, you can also write a test, but you have to name it like foo test.java. So, and that plugin simply does polling if your source code is modified, and whenever you save the source code, it'll auto-run the test, and then report it to you inside the editor. But I think this is a pretty nice concept. It's a very helpful tool because for many reasons. So, but we're Perl people. We need some love to Perl, and there got to be a pony in here. So I made this program. It's just a tool. It isn't really is a framework of anything. It's a tool. So I'm gonna give a quick demo of this, so to show you the concept. So, okay, this is my editor. So down there's a shell command that I am currently working on, a module called Acme Greeting. So my tool will load up. It'll just find out that I have several tests under my module, and then so say I'm trying to modify my test, and I'm gonna break it, and it'll figure out that it's been modified and rerun it, and then it'll show you, oh, you have some test that's broken. So then I see, oh, it is broken, so I can quickly fix it, and then it'll retest it as soon as I save, and then just show me it's passing again. So that's how it is. So okay, so how to use it is very simple. It's just run this command. Well, it's in the Perl doc, and then it'll give you some messy message on your screen that looks like this. So what it really does is like when it started, it just start scanning your whole file, all your files under your distribution, and then see if any one of them is modified. And then it figures out that a subset of your test suite that requires rerunning depends on, like, if you're modifying a module, you should rerun like 3 files, or 5 files. And then it'll run them, and then it reports to you if it's passing or fail. So, and it's just doing all this again and again as a background program. So you don't really need to leave your editor. You can just wait for the result coming out. So how it's been done? So I actually combine a lot of CPM modules in here. So there are actually many helpful modules that there's a file modified that provides a blocked API that you can just call it, and when it returns, it'll ensure that some file is being modified. it's a block API, so you don't really need to do that polling yourself. And then there's a very useful module extract use that telling you how many modules your program uses. So it is a regular expression-based method, so it's like a static source code analysis, but it doesn't do runtime analysis, but it's good enough. And then there's a new application called AppProof, which is basically a rewrite of the old test harness framework utilities that on CPAN that it's programmable. So I use it to run tests and then to use log dispatch to report if it's success or it's failed. Okay. So CPAN for the win. It's actually very easy to combine all those things, although it looks so many of them. So such tool is very good for two things. For test-driven development, so you should keep testing your code, or you should write some failing test code before you write the actual program, or even it's very good for test-driven refactor. Because when you're refactoring the code, you want to make sure that none of your tests are failing due to your refactor. And this can instantly respond to you if your code is broken. So let me go to, that's basically all of it. So let me just bring you some details. So in the first day that I wrote this program, it does even simpler things. So it just wait for some files to be modified, and then just run all the tests, and then reports to you if it's passing or failed. But running all the tests takes a lot of time, especially when you have a very large test suite, and wasting time is not so good because wasting time kind of encourages you to write less tests because you're going to waste a lot of time running them. And writing less tests is a potential lead to writing bad software and make people hate software. So, and if you hate software, somebody's going to blow. So I find I did some research and find out that this is the most important part of this module. It should run as few tests as possible. So there are actually only two simple rules to do that. So if you modify a test file, that's the file that is only being required to rerun. Okay, this is fairly obvious. And then if you're not modifying a test file, then instead, if you're modifying some source code, then you should only run those test files that depends on this source code. So say I have three modules in my distribution that moose, cow, and ox. And I have several test files to test them. So moose.t test moose.pn, and cow.t test cow.pn, and then there's fight.t that use two different modules. So if I can figure out this relationship, then I can run. Then when I edit moose.pm, then I just rerun just one test file, and then if I modify cow.pm, then because it's used by two test files, so I only have to rerun two of them. So I use module extract use to figure this mapping and then just reverse the mapping, like reversing a hash. This is how I figure out how many tests to rerun. And then I use log dispatch to send notification. Well, I don't really know if there's any better way than this, but I think this is pretty good because it's extendable, so you can send your notification across many channels. First of them is to the screen. That is basically this message you're seeing here. So like there are separators that separate different runs of tests, and then you can see them in between the separator. It's just a normal test message that you will see, like when you're doing the test you're manually. So, and then if you, like me, love Mac, which is a very good developer platform because it has this growl thing that's basically gonna notify you if something's gonna change, like with these cute windows. So and there's actually already a log dispatch module that can notify you the results through this growl thing. So yeah, it is auto use if you install it. And then, but I think there's a lot of improvement that I can do to this tool. For example, currently I only check .pm dependencies. So if you're writing access code or if your test is pretty complicated, it's data driven, it's not so helpful currently because it can't detect how the C dependencies from, because module extract use doesn't detect that. So, and it's a little bit hard to figure out like all possible cases. So I think this needs some configuration. And currently it's only detects shallow dependency, which means that if I have some inheritance in my source code like this, say I have animal, the PM, that's the base class, and then I have two files to test my subclasses. And currently I don't, if I modify info.pm, theoretically I should rerun these tests for subclasses because the source code, is considered changed. But now it doesn't. It just. So you have to write a. Conventionally, you should write another test to test the base class anyway. But I should also have a mechanism to detect the inheritance if possible. I don't know. Oh yeah, there's no frog in here. I'm sorry. So and then there is no clear message to notify what's the test file that's failing and what line on it is failing. I think it's reported in the TAP output, but it's not so obvious how to capture the output. And yeah, that needs to be worked out. Also, there's no high definition cute looking icon in there. So okay. So in the future, there's like a few bunch of to-dos that I want to do to this project. Like I just say, I want a better dependency detection mechanism, and then in terms of better, I think there are at least two ways to do it. The first one is do a convention based, and by this I mean like for a certain project, like those projects generated by Catalyst or Gypty, they have a convention of that maps like a module code or controller code to test files. They have a naming convention, so I can just always test those controller tests or model tests. And also I can have a configuration based, which means I need some configuration that let developers list their data dependencies somewhere in some way, And then I want to support other reminder on other platforms, like on Linux. There's something similar to Growl, but it's not done yet. Okay, so that's actually the end of my talk. Happy testing. And any questions?
CPU タイムをたくさん使うコードになってますかっていう質問です。
Okay, so the question is, does that cause a lot of CPU time? And then it doesn't obviously take any CPU time. Like, yeah, but the module file modified it. It's not. I think it's not actually doing polling. It's rather like doing select or something. And it just query for the top level directory, because you don't really have to go through all the files. You can just see if the directory is changed, and then do another query to know what file is exactly changed there. So no, I don't think it's taking a lot of CPU time, because that's not the case that I've been doing.
ファイルスタットをいっぱいしてポーリングして遅くなっているんじゃないかという指摘あったんですけども、ファイルモディファイルを見る限りは、ディレクトリレベルでセレクトか何かをしていて、全部のファイルを見ているわけではないので、それほどの CPU を使うわけではなさそうですと。Any other questions? デベルカバーっていう文字があるんですけど、それでデペンデンシーをツリーを全部見るということは試してみましたか？
Okay, so yeah, Jesse asked if I should use. Their company suggests me that I should use devel cover to figure out the runtime dependency, and then I actually I didn't done that before, and so I really don't have any logs, but. I wish I can just try it someday, like recently in a hackathon, so to figure something out. That's so helpful.
まだやってないですけど、ハッカソンかなんかでちょっとやってみたいと思ってますと。
There's a module called devel covered, which will map from what line of a file was covered by what tests.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's brand new.
Thanks for the information.
デベルカバードというモジュールがあって、どのテストがどのモジュールのどのライン行をテストしたのかというのを分かるそうです。
Is it runtime? Is it runtime?
No, it stores the cover information.
Oh, so you have to run it once. So you have to run it once at least. Okay, but that's cool.
Any questions? 質問のある方ですか？
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.